And so here's one of the takeaways for small and medium-sized businesses. Start thinking about tasks that you can outsource to AI agents. Like scheduling, data entry, replying to inquiries. And the thing that they reinforce, which I have to agree with, and it's not a panic thing, but realize this isn't 5 years out. This is now. Welcome to this episode of AI Because. We got a few people who are kind of MIA. One of them is tile shopping, lost track of time, doing remodeling on his house. And the other one, I don't know, Greg, he may pop in. I do not know. But Michael's back from traveling the globe. So it's good to see you, dude.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
And Steve is here representing as well. So welcome. A lot of stuff, and we were just chatting before we hit record, a lot of stuff happening right now. No surprise in the world of AI. And I love the opportunities that we have. And I think one of the things we talked about, because we're offering a course on Copilot, how to get started with that. But the other part of it is Notebook LM, Google's offering. There's competition there in that world. So anyway, this past week, I had the opportunity to attend some stuff, and the Google Create, I mean, not Google Create, Canva Create 2025. That launch, tons of functionality that they've got. And then the other was the Business Innovator Summit, which was a 3-day summit that definitely catered to small, medium-sized businesses and what's happening in that world. Tons of speakers. It was like 7.5 hours a day. Cool stuff. I've got a couple updates from that. So I would love to go around the room and chat with you guys, and then I'll pull some of that stuff in. Michael, what's happening in your world?
Good stuff. Not much again.
Listen to you. Not much. I'm traveling around. I'm going here. I'm doing this.
Now, in other words, there's so much going on that you haven't had your time to collect your thoughts.
Yes.
What's going on?
Actually, you're right, Steve. Actually, you're so right on it. It's like when you get overwhelmed with an avalanche of so many things that are disrupting the market, disrupting many markets, not only one market, and all related to AI. AI is the main player everywhere.
Yeah.
For 2025 so far. Good
What
stuff.
stands out? What stands out for you? What's one thing that stands out in all the stuff that you're doing? Because I know you've been playing, you've got your clinic, the pharmacy aspect of it, and then you've been playing in the real estate space.
What has been standing up as I'm seeing that is starting a beginning of a trend, an early thing. I'm not talking about product right now.
Yeah.
Is the opportunity of international people going international. So people going outside their box with I think AI has had a big play in that because information became not cheap, it became priceless. So when information is there, it smoothing down the flow of think about when you know about a project, when you know more and do your research or do due diligence on it, then things move forward. Now AI providing information, anything you can imagine, anything you can look for and explore becomes easy. People start to go outside their box. So I'm seeing a lot of opportunities for everyone outside their own box, whatever that box is. Could be their orders, could be what they've been doing, could be their mindset, could be their network, could be so many things. That on that level, it's hard to explain because it can be applied to real estate. It can be applied to real estate. It can be applied to production. It can be applied to creating new things that completely outside your box. So,
yeah.
Well, no, it's so interesting. You say, and I'm listening to you. And then, like I said, I attended the 3-day Business Innovator Summit. And part of the stuff they talked about is we don't know what we don't know. And one of the things that pretty much every presenter, regardless of what they were doing, so people on options trading, on automating processes, social media posting, creating of courses, whatever it may be, is that one of the themes that came out was regardless of what you do, if you were self-employed, small, medium-sized business, whatever it is, you need to be digitized. There needs to be some way that you're digitizing whatever it is that you have. And AI is going to help us with that, Michael, because before when you said those words, people like, I don't understand what it means. I don't even know how to do that. We're not like, I'm not a copywriter. I'm not the one that does marketing. But what happens is when you were talking is if I went to Google and did a search, which I used to do searches all the time in Google, I didn't necessarily get what I was looking for. When I go and have a conversation or an interaction with chat, OpenAI, it's Claude, it could be Perplexity, whichever, choose your flavor, right? I'm able to get more information and refine the information where when I think about when I go into Google searches, and granted, there's an AI component to it now, I don't have that continued conversation and refinement that I'm able to do with an LLM, right? Large language model. And I think that's the game changer so that I can nuance and narrow things down that I'm not so easily able to do with other searches.
And I want to add something that I was just playing. You just remind me with it. I was
Yeah.
just this literally 2 days ago, and I asked ChatGPT. It started with like, "What do you know about me?"
Mm-hmm.
I was blown. But what blew me more when the conversation started going toward what do you think will be my limiting beliefs?
Oh, okay.
And I realized that he, first of all, he nailed it. He nailed it on like he numbered them, and each one of them you're working on this and this and this. If there's so much outside our box,
Mm-hmm.
it's how much, it's what you can imagine. The it's what you can ask.
Mm-hmm.
The creation is in the asking.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
it's interesting too because he's that he and chat is a male for me. As obviously it is for you as well. Some people
buddy,
chat's female, yes. But he's learning, right, all the time with our interactions, the questions we're asking, the stuff that we're looking at. And it's not limited to just one thread. And so it is an interesting thing. And I never thought about that, but it's like based on what you know about me, what can get in the way of me achieving what I want to achieve, right?
yes,
What do you think I'm going after? What do you think my goals are?
yes.
Because there may be some, because the large language model looks for patterns. So
Mhm.
there could be some themes and some patterns in there that could be um, pretty insightful. And so, Michael, that's interesting. Steve, what's on your mind?
Well, one thing that's sticking out with me about this conversation is that with AI, intelligence almost is infinite, right?
Mhm.
Like, and so what there becomes usually what happens is that price goes up for things that are not infinite, right?
Okay.
And what's not infinite anymore in this age is now it's relationships, it's humanity. And and even if you look at OpenAI's recent strategy of now it's deliberately remembering more about you across all your conversations, right?
Hmm.
And why? To become more sticky so that it's harder to switch because there's going to be plenty other models offering just as good performance, just as good intelligence, right? The same thing can go in our business relationships too, is that you're gonna be able to get good advice from a lot of different people you'll be able to automate, a lot of people will be able to automate stuff. But what you can't still get, what is a rare commodity is trust, caring, um, just and then liking people, being able to gel with them. So I think that's what's like there's a lot of industry crossing and all that.
Hmm.
End of the day, um, I think I don't know what the best word is, soul, humanity, uh, touch and feel, all these things I think are going to get elevated in importance because they then become rarer commodities.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because what comes back to me, what came to mind when we were talking is the feeling that we have when someone knows us, right? So we don't have to give them the backstory.
Mhm.
Like my best friend, we know
Mhm.
each other for 40 years,
Mhm.
right? And so it's not like I have to tell her what happened in my life 30 years ago. She was there.
Mhm.
And it's kind of the same thing you mentioned. I didn't think about it, but it's like I don't use Perplexity. I don't use Claude. They're not my go-tos. I'll do them every once in a while because I get other people that go, oh, Claude for coding, Perplexity for, there's a perception that the truth is there, or that's got current internet, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
But it is that there is a vibe. It's like I was engaging with Chad over the weekend because I attended this Business Innovator Summit. And so I'm having Chat go through, help think through some of this stuff that these presenters were doing.
Mhm.
And the the I wasn't in one of the custom GPTs around better possibilities, my business around executive coaching, leadership development, but Chat knew
Mhm.
because that stuff exists about me and would infuse into this aligns with your brand voice. This is what, and so I didn't have to fill in those blanks
Mhm.
because the knowledge existed on the tweaking and the fine tuning, which, and I don't know if it's Greg brought it up before or something else, is the value in us not just leaving something out there hanging if we don't agree with it that Chad has said, or it's not what we really want. Align to it, give that feedback. Sometimes you're in a relationship with someone and you're like, you know what, it's not the hill to die on. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's not going to make any difference.
Mhm.
It makes a difference in this world, right? So give that feedback of what better looks like to be able to tweak it and don't walk away from the potential feedback opportunity because it is a learning model.
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting. So I wanted to highlight a couple things. I'm gonna read it and chat help me update some of this stuff.
Mhm.
The Business Innovator Summit that I attended, it was done by Brian Walsh and someone named Marcy that hosted and facilitated this stuff. And I mean the speakers were like John Lee, social media, Peter Diamandis was on a few times, Kane Minkus, someone named Darren Winters who does like wealth mastery, wealth training on investing. Sean Allison. I mean, it was ridiculous how many people were on this. But one of the things I wanted to highlight for you guys in chatting today was a conversation between an interview done between Peter Diamandis and Kane Minkus,
Mhm.
and it was around AI. And people who don't know Peter Diamandis, he's in two very distinct spaces. One is the life foundation stuff, life force, biohacking,
Mhm.
basically living longevity space. That's one of his passions. And the other one is around AI. And he was so funny because he said he gets so frustrated because he has like a 15-year-old and somebody else. And he gets so frustrated because they're not using AI with the kids in school and teaching them these skills, which they
Mhm.
desperately need to engage with. Kate Minkus talked about he homeschools his kids, and his kids use AI to learn and elevate and get better. And he said his son is self-employed. He's successfully launched digital products at like 15.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's like the potential's there. So we need to be able to upskill our kids to be able to engage with and figure out what it is to succeed in the new world. But what Peter talked about, AI agents, and we've all talked about this, becoming our next employees. And so here's one of the takeaways for small, medium-sized businesses. Start thinking about tasks that you can outsource to AI agents, like scheduling, data entry, replying to inquiries. And the thing that they reinforce, which I have to agree with, and it's not a panic thing, but realize this isn't 5 years out, this is now. And so I think that's the important part. If you don't know what it looks like, start exploring that. I know we talked about we're gonna have a information webinar thing just on where do I step in? What does it look like? And so we'll have more to come on that. Agentic cloning of yourself. This is one of the things that pretty freaking cool is that what Kane talked about too is there were a lot of promotions that people do, and not everyone's comfortable being in front of the room or doing promo videos or whatever that may be. You can clone yourself. There's a lot you go through to verify it's you and all this stuff. But then all of a sudden the clone can be there to be able to speak to, do training, do promo videos, all the stuff that you don't have time for. And it's still you, your voice, your brand voice, your everything. And it's just these kind of time-saving things are huge. Multi-agent teams, they talked about, oh, what I loved was he talked about the 6 Ds of exponential technologies. And this is the phase, right? So we go through digitize, there's deceptive growth, there's disrupt, there's dematerialize, there's demonetize, and then there's democratize. So it's like we are going through, and what you talked about, Steve, with this infinite ability is start thinking about a way that what you have, price is not a barrier for the consumer. How do you scale basically? So when I think about democratizing stuff, it's scaling it to where the masses get access to it. And we're no longer limited, and Michael, you were talking about this, to these self-imposed geography boundaries, that it's not an issue anymore. So I'm going to stop because there's a lot, and I want to hear what you all think about that because there's a few more, but I don't want to be the only voice in the room. What do you think?
Well, first off, I totally agree with that. And in fact, one thing I wanted to mention, since we are focused on small and medium-sized businesses here, is that there's an interesting policy that that the CEO of Shopify, I think most of us have heard of Shopify, right?
Yeah.
Where most a lot of e-commerce stores run off that platform. Well, anyway, the CEO of Shopify, Toby Lutke, he shared on X, previously Twitter, this new policy that he instituted for the company, for for the entire company, basically the title of the policy is AI usage is now baseline expectation.
Mm.
And so in it, he stated that you don't have to worry, the employees don't have to worry about being replaced by AI, but they do need to be worried about being replaced by people who can proficiently use AI.
Yeah, I think
So
that's a theme I heard
yeah,
somewhere else too. It reminded me the CEO from Salesforce. There was some soundbite from him that he was talking to one of his other senior leaders, and the leader, I guess, came to him and said, "Hey, we don't need we with AI."
mhm,
They've been able to become 30% more productive, right? In engineering in that space. And I think, and I could be wrong, they have
mhm.
like 75,000 engineers, which
Yeah, they
felt
have a
like
lot.
a huge, huge number.
Yeah,
But the guy said, I don't want to hire anybody else.
yeah,
I want us to go deeper on what we're able to do.
yes,
And his comment was, that's never happened. So it's one of those things of go deep, play with it, and then go deep and seriously think about the opportunities that exist. Because I think Peter Diamandis said there's going to be two types of businesses,
mhm,
in the future, is those that totally embrace AI and the capabilities, and those are thriving, and the ones that are out of business that don't. And well, I'm sure you're not going to have every business who doesn't embrace AI go out of business, but it's a game changer with stuff. And if you're not at least paying attention and inquiring, getting curious about what stuff it is, because the longer time it takes you to do stuff, there's a cost involved in that. So
yeah,
it doesn't mean that you have to lay people off, but it means that you're able to grow and not have to grow your base
right.
at the same rate that you currently do. And that's powerful stuff.
Well, and that's the thing is there's a couple more points he made in this memo. Two additional points I'll mention here is that he said specifically that they will add AI usage questionnaires to their performance reviews and peer evaluations. So that was an additional point he said.
Okay.
And then he also said is before asking for more headcount or resources, teams have to prove why they cannot use AI to accomplish it.
Well, yeah, why AI is not going
Yeah,
to help them
yeah,
do what they
exactly.
need to do. Well,
Anyway,
and it's the same kind of thing with organizations through attrition is where they're going to manage the workforce. Don't automatically backfill somebody. And that's what you're talking about,
exactly.
is that take a look and say, hey, can we do it without? I mean, the improvement work that I did decades ago and have always done, it was one of those things. Don't just blindly replace positions.
Right.
Take a look and go, okay, do we still need this role?
Yes. And
And
you
you
know,
may not.
exactly. Well, and you know, here's how he ends his memo. He says, "What we need to succeed is our collective sum, total skill and ambition at applying our craft multiplied by AI for the benefit of our merchants," right? And that's so effectively captures the spirit of this whole thought that we're talking about is AI is a force multiplier, right? And so it takes everything that we are about that is in and I say we our company, you know, but also collectively, you know, I think for most people who are really using it for their mission and their vision, right, to achieve that, and it's a force multiplier in doing so. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Michael.
I just wanted to say, we the huge opportunity now is you don't fire people. You already have created something that is very rare, which is the trust, the relationships,
Mhm.
which is very rare right now. We just mentioned
Mhm.
if if you add that layer of AI training and the power of all those tools for a team that is already powerful and
Mhm.
unstoppable, that's what you need to do. And that's how you can disrupt any market
Yeah.
with the right team and right mindset, right tools, and infinite potential.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm going to go back to some of the takeaways around when they were talking about everyone should digitize and look at it. Is one of the call outs was every business, even brick and mortar, need to identify ways they can digitize. And that's the first domino in future proofing your company. So it's like, look where you can do this stuff because that's where the low cost entry or scalability exists. We've talked about it before, a CAIO, so a chief AI officer. What I love the way he framed this is it's not someone who can do and build. It's not the coder, it's not the no code stuff. That's not what this is in his world. It's someone who's going to be looking out to say what's happening in this world so that we can pull it in where do the opportunities exist, but not the doer of the stuff. And I love the way he framed that. Because if you can't hire one, he says, be your own CIO for now. Dedicate time weekly to exploring tools, watch demos, brainstorm use cases. Stay current, stay up to date, get your brain thinking about the possibilities. The final thing I'll note just on his talk or the interview is the mindset shift. And he said, stay curious and explore stuff. Use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever I'm at, Runway, 11 Labs, whatever that may look like. It's like my go-tos now are Opus Clip for shorts. I was using CapCut. I'm not thrilled with them right now. They ended up cutting off to where I didn't have the subscription access to my pro plan. Still don't have it. Going back and forth with their support system. So I'm using Clipchamp right now. But whatever it is, be able to navigate through and have flexibility and play with this stuff and figure out where the opportunity exists. So that's the stuff on that one. And then the other opportunity was, that I was watched was Canva Create 2025. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They have so much that is in Canva now that I use Canva, but I scratched the surface on Canva. Canva rivals any of these others now that are out there. The images can be created with AI. So, and chat refers me to Canva a lot of times now. That if chat has image challenges, it's like, oh, here's the prompt for that, and you can go into Canva and it can make it. But
Mhm.
presentations, writing books, like lesson plans for teachers, it's crazy. And they've combined all these, they have a Visual Suite 2.0. So they've united the design plan. They've got Canvas sheets. So now you're able to take like stats that you may have, like we were doing in Copilot, and you can create graphics with it, charts, it'll analyze things. Oh my God. I mean, it was like Magic Suite, automated content creation, AI powered data visualization. creative assistant. It's like, guys, I was so excited. Just,
Yeah.
I need to play with Canva.
Yes, yeah, there's a lot. I saw that too, and there's undoubtedly it's like you can use it now, I guess, in place of in many cases, in place of Excel and PowerPoint, even, right? And
Well, hands down,
yeah,
but it's
I
beyond that.
beyond that, I get it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And there's other tools. It's like I know Manoj has shown us, and we've talked about with Copilot, the functionality existed. So you don't have to go into Microsoft Space to get this functionality. And so I just, it's huge. It's just,
Well, yeah, you know what? I think I totally agree with you, and I think this goes back to, and Michelle, you were mentioning this. You even said you put out a tweet or something about this, about and this is something I believe for a long time is AI.
oh, it was a post. Yeah,
Yeah, AI elevates great thinking.
it does.
And that's the first point. But then it's like, one reason why there's a couple more than a couple of reasons why, but two that I'll mention here is one is great, half the battle is asking great questions, right? And now, if you can ask the powerful questions, it's so much quicker to get the questions answered than it ever in history it has been. And so the ability to go through and ask these questions and get rapid fire answers. And then what's also amazing is because really, if you think about it, there's 5 types of AI tools, 5 categories, right? There's the text-based tools, there's the audio-based tools, there's the image-based tools, there's the video-based tools, and
Mhm.
then there's the action-based tools, right? That can be used for automations and workflows and things like that, right? And so coupled with these categories of tools and then the ability to ask questions, get answers, and execute. I mean, it's just we've never seen any. I mean, this is an
Well,
unparalleled.
and I don't, and I think the main point, the important part of this too is it's not a one question thing.
No, it's an
So
ongoing conversation.
it's an ongoing conversation, iteration on it.
Yes.
And I think that's the more important aspect of it that we
Mhm.
didn't have before. Because I mean, I don't know if anybody else experienced this, but literally with Google stuff, I would go searches and I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for.
But you know what's interesting? I'll tell you, there's a couple of things that I think are just fascinating here. In a world of infinite intelligence, like we talked about the humanity being valuable, but what else, right? What are the inflection points? Yeah, I'm actually reading this book now. It's a great book. It's by this venture capitalist.
Oh, I thought maybe it was like a C.S. Lewis book or
Well,
something.
actually, as usual, I've got like 5 different books.
Okay,
Uh,
okay,
but but anyway, the point about this is is that he's looked back at all of the it's called Pattern Breakers is the name of the book.
okay.
Mike Maples. And anyway, so he's like looks at what has made companies successful, and he talks about hitting the right inflection points, and timing is critical.
Hmm.
And so I'm thinking like, all right, what are all the key inflection points with AI? And I don't claim to have the answers yet, but this is
Well,
some.
then I can't wait. I can't wait for more at some point, Steve.
Yes,
Mike,
absolutely.
what else is on your mind? What are we wrapping up with, sir? What do you want people to walk away with?
What we learned from all of this is if you have a team, the powerful, most impactful for your team or your business to be doing is to train them on the right tool or tools. It could be either Copilot, and we put everything in one system and how to use it,
Hmm.
or Canva, and they can know how the capabilities of such a powerful tools in
Hmm.
their system. That will be the fastest, most impactful turnaround for any business
Hmm.
instead of
It's huge.
rebuilding the wheel.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think part of it too is we're able to get faster, better, stronger, whatever. I mean, it's just the sky's the limit, which is exciting. And to your point, Michael, it doesn't mean that we have to eliminate jobs or let me say this differently. Jobs will change, right? Roles will change, but it doesn't mean that we have to let go of people. And so it is about upskilling the workforce. It is about stepping in to create new skill sets to upskill people to where they can, thrive in what's currently out there. And so I encourage people not to go, we're going to lay off all these people. But what does it look like to repurpose the workforce to step into a different way? And then what does it look like to scale and grow and generate revenue so that you're going to spread that cost? Because there's areas that we can play in that we couldn't play in before. So yeah, I totally agree. Steve, how about you?
Well, for me, I'm just focused on how to think about an age of infinite intelligence, frankly, among other things. There's many things that I'm focused on now, including some automations, and I'm building products, several different products to automate and improve. They're in the financial services space, and
Yeah.
so I mean, it's not one thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about building great products, using AI to create feedback loops,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I actually, this one project that I'm working on at work is I've been thinking about how I'm going to give users an incentive to use AI to perform tasks that they previously weren't, by
Mm-hmm.
making it a lot quicker to do their to by it'll even if they anyway it'll make it quicker, and then when they execute their actions, the feedback will then get looped back into the machine learning algorithm so
Mm-hmm.
that the machine learning algorithm can learn. So
Mm-hmm.
making it easy for users to actually use AI, without even them knowing it, really, frankly.
Oh, so
And
you're not going to have a little tag thing there says,
no, no, no,
AI
no. I'll give them the
at
power
work
to.
with you.
I'll give them the power to like put everything where like this. What this thing I have in mind does is it breaks up. Like you could throw an 800-page document in, and it will
Yeah.
break it up into the proper documents and everything.
Yeah.
Not always right.
It'll parse out.
It's not always right. So give users the ability to drag and drop, make it easy, everything into the appropriate place, and then have it execute what the users want. So the users get what they want, but then it's feeding back into the algorithm so that they can learn. It can learn how from its mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
just that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm focused primarily
Simple,
on how
easy.
I'm
Yeah.
building great products that provide a product needs to be able to solve a problem, and it needs to be a joy to use, right? So both of those things, I think. So anyway,
Okay.
that's what's in my world right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Just
I see your
happy Disney kind of
I,
stuff.
I will, I will say one other thing while I know I can digress
Really? You
a
can't
bit.
handle it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, and I
I
was
see
reading
the
this. We were
passion.
talking about data preparation, right? Data preparation for AI. And I really think part of good user experience when building products, but also part of making a website AI discoverable, right, is having a good taxonomy, right? Because these agents, when they go out and they are searching now, more and more searching and purchasing, or at least not purchasing, but recommendations are going to be done by automated agents, right? And so when you're building your whether website or product or whatever, you need to really think through what are the different categories, and the taxonomy of the data taxonomy needs to be well thought out so it can be discoverable by agents as well as humans. So,
Yeah, data is one of those things. It was so funny you were talking. I don't
mhm,
know why my brain went to this place. You were talking about what you're talking about.
yeah,
And I went back to it was from the 3-day summit that I was at. Um,
mhm,
and it was talking about HR uses and stuff. And so you can use agents to do the initial interviewing and interaction with the candidates.
mhm,
And so you think about that, and the agents are not going to come in, they're going to come in with some biases depending on whatever they've been learning from.
mhm,
Um, but hopefully not the same ones that humans have, and can probably pick up on some of these nuances. But it's
mhm.
just interesting as first line, because a lot of times in organizations, that's your bottleneck.
Yes.
You've got operational leaders that are waiting for candidates. Only
Mhm,
the candidates, because the relationship is one to many between the recruiters and the organization internally and the operational leaders, and they're waiting for candidates to be funneled out and pre-qualified. you could speed that process along like it's nobody's business by doing that. So anyway, Michael, you had thoughts?
No, my thought was like I was something I want to share because I was recently with a group of people and they were sharing how Google used to crawl internet and websites and domains for for how many clicks, how much engagement, how many, that is going to be changing because now
It has already.
it's already changed. AI who is actually crawling for the value. They're crawling as humans. The same pattern. We look at our website. Is there something value in this? That will bring a value to me, or be have a certain thing that is I'm gonna need, and it'll change something in my life that the value in it. So now it's gonna be AI doing that. So that will change the SEO that we do.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna pay per click anymore because a lot of times people don't need to click because you can see all the underlying stuff without clicking. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's changing a lot. It's changing a lot. I think for me, the thing that people to walk away with is don't wait. Don't be afraid of it. Don't go, oh yeah, that's something I need to look at. Seriously, start stepping in. You can if you have questions, reach out to any one of us. We'll be more than happy to jump on a call with you and walk you through how you can start. We are going to do a webinar next month just on where you start if you don't know. But that being said, go to, I think it's chat.com now. I think they bought that domain. I think we established that. Set up a free account, just a free account. Start playing in it and seeing what's possible. And if you don't know how to use it, ask chat. Hey, this is what I do. This is what I really don't know how to interact with you. What are your suggestions? And there will be suggestions that come back. This is the business I have. How can AI help in my business? So start doing that because you don't want to get too far down and then look around and go, oh, everyone else knows how to do this, and everyone else has a smartphone and you still have the old flip phone where you're texting with the numbers on the thing. Don't be that business. So we're here to help. And that's what I have. It's just exciting freaking stuff. Can you feel the energy? So this has been Andy. Please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, have a freaking awesome day. Thank you.
Listen, we'll show you how. A new wave rising, it's clear and loud. AI's the future, let's make you proud. Data and dreams combine in the air. From cloud to code, oh, we're everywhere. Innovation driving, we're breaking ground. With AI tools, let's turn it around. AI become a use. We're powering your moves. Tech that's here for good, bringing all the moods.